What's poppin', YouTube? Back at it with another horror reaction, you know what I'm saying? And yes, we spamming. Yes, this is the second video I'm dropping in a day. Yes, the grind is not gonna stop, bro. I'm sorry. I gotta keep, you know what I'm saying? I gotta keep them up, bro. I gotta keep the grind up. You feel me? But yeah, anyways, we're reacting to Horror Shorts Party. 3 true
What?
3 true swimming pools horror stories animated. And we're only gonna react to one. Let's get it poppin'. Okay, I couldn't read for a minute. I don't know what was going on, bro. Feel me? Following were inspired by what? Hold on. I'm sorry this taking too long, but come on, bro. What did I just say? The following stories were inspired by or blah, 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 on actual events or locals or persons living or dead. Okay. Alright, bro.
My friend James and I used to hang out at the community center in our neighborhood during the summertime. There wasn't much else to do there except swim in the pool, but when it got really hot outside, that's pretty much all we wanted to do anyway. The only thing that sucked about it was that it closed at 5 p.m., which felt way too early. The sun didn't go down for another 2 hours. James and I would stay every day until the lifeguards kicked us out and locked up the gate. But no matter how much we tried to convince them the rule was dumb, they were never lenient about it. Eventually, we got sick and tired of it and decided to do things our way. The gate into the pool was short enough to
follow the rules, bro.
And the rest of the fence surrounding it had a privacy screen. So as long as there was nobody working there at night or watching the security cameras like a hawk, we figured out that we could basically have the whole place to ourselves if we wanted to. All we had to do was sneak in. James and I talked about it for a few days but chickened out the first few nights. But one night, we decided to eventually take the risk and do it. We waited until about 11 p.m. to sneak out and meet up in my backyard. James and I then walked over to the community center without seeing anybody. The coast was pretty much clear when we got there. I then gave James a boost as he hopped over the gate first. Then it was me. I was a little antsy being this mischievous, but I knew the fence protected us from being seen by anybody. Besides, it was so dark that we even doubted the cameras could see us at all. James and I took off our shirts, shoes, and socks, and then jumped into the pool. We started swimming while being quiet, of course, and normally the lifeguards would get nasty if they caught anyone jumping in while trying to do tricks. But now that wasn't a problem anymore. James went first, while I stood outside of the pool to judge. That's when he got a running head start and jumped into the air whispering, "Cannonball!" James was submerged for a few seconds, sinking to the bottom as one should when doing a cannonball. But then, as he began surfacing out of the water, he immediately started screaming at the top of his lungs saying, "Help! Get me out of here!"
First of all, this is literally a true story. You know how many times this has happened, bro? I mean, they just said that, but what the...
He then swam to the edge in a panic and scrambled out of the water. But even when he got out, he still wasn't in control of himself.
I thought he was about to drown.
And tried to figure out what was going on.
Dude, calm down. You're being too loud. You're gonna get us caught.
But James couldn't even put words together. He was more freaked out than I've ever seen anybody freaked out.
What
he was
happened
hyperventilating while crying. I tried prying the answer out of him as to what the hell was going on, but it wasn't working.
What is happening, bro?
James looked back to the pool with utter terror on his face and pointed into the deep end, saying,
"There's something in there!"
James' scream was bone-chilling.
What's
I
in
looked
there?
over and tried to see what exactly he was pointing at, but the water was too murky from being swam in by a bunch of sweaty people all summer, and with how dark it was that night, we couldn't see a thing.
What do you mean? What's down there?
Who's in there, bro?
No, I don't want to. It's... Stop being such a wimp. Just gotta go down there and see what it is. No, please don't. Shh, be quiet. It'll just take a second.
What is down there, bro? What did my boy see, bro?
But I was actually genuinely scared of what I might see.
God!
It had to be something serious to rattle James to the bone like that.
Word, bro.
Part of me was hoping that he was faking it and trying to pull a joke on me. I dove in and plunged to the bottom. Slowly, the murkiness gave way and a strange shape did start to come into focus at the bottom of the deep end.
What's under
I got
there?
in closer for a better look, and getting that close to something I will regret for the rest of my life. That's when I realized what it was at that moment. It was a woman.
What the?
I began swimming away as I could feel the decomposing demonic latch onto my arm. All I could remember was swallowing mouthfuls of water as that thing started dragging me down. I screamed out all of the air in my lungs and managed to break free from its grasp. I then rushed back to the surface to get out of the pool as soon as possible.
I'm going crazy underwater. I'm sorry. I wouldn't even be underwater. I barely could kind of swim. I could swim a little bit. Not really.
To our parents. We both hopped the gate back into the neighborhood.
Nah, we out. We ain't never doing that again, my boy.
Saying a single word. When we were safe, or so we thought. We
look, they shook.
About what we saw.
That's why you shouldn't be going in the pool after hours anyway, bro.
It had to be a rotting corpse, but the way it moved made me think it was something else. James and I started to talk our way into convincing ourselves that it was just some prankster in a costume pranking us. We were both shaken to our cores and vowed to never go near that pool again, thinking we'd seen a demon that was haunting us that night. We kept it a secret for another week until we heard from the local news that a dead body had floated up to the surface of that swimming pool. According to what we heard, it was alleged that the person was a woman who had drowned there a week prior before the night we broke in. All this time, while the community pool was open to the public, there was not a single person that had any idea what was lurking just a few feet below them, festering, decaying, and morphing into something that barely looked human. This story was inspired by a true event that happened at a public swimming pool in Fall River, Massachusetts. A male was swimming in the pool when he discovered something floating by the deep end. He immediately alerted the lifeguard, in which they then discovered a female. What makes this even more disturbing was how the public swam in the pool for 2 days straight, without even noticing the woman, as she was not visible due to the water being too murky.
Damn, that's crazy. Alright, bro. Second video. I keep saying we react to one and then I react to two. It's all good though.
Whenever I'm reminded of
I'm blessing y'all right now.
I think back to what happened to my girlfriend and I at the height of it. We were outgoing people, so we had to sacrifice a whole summer of fun just because everything was closed down. Our hopes for a beach day, or to just even hit up a local swimming pool for an afternoon, wore thinner as the weeks passed, until we got desperate enough to try something new. We came across this app called Swimply, which allowed homeowners to rent out their pools by the hour. It didn't take long for us to find one that was really promising. The picture showed a huge backyard with a sizable pool. The only problem was the hour-long drive to get there. However, this didn't faze us as we had been stuck inside for quite a while. A lot of the homes along the way were hillbilly compounds, comprised of little more than double-wide trailers right up against the highway, and homemade junkyards surrounded by collapsing fences. It was giving us major Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes, but we held out hope that we would find a diamond in the rough. Unfortunately, that wasn't quite the case. The GPS led us to what was thankfully an actual house, but it was a lot smaller than we expected. We were reluctant to get out and knock on the door, but we'd spent an hour getting there and didn't want to.
I'm not going to nobody else to go swimming.
The man who opened the door was a shock as well. He was a textbook old creep, and he had that nasty type of old people smell, where it seemed like their
I'm out. I'm getting back in the whip. Come on, baby.
We getting back in the whip. Girl, even when he was supposedly talking directly to me. We probably should have had the sense to leave right then, but we wanted to at least see the pool first to know if it would be worth it. The old man led us around the outside of the house and showed us this giant.
Does he even have a pool, my guy?
Backyard. But to our shock and disappointment, we saw that it was literally just an empty kiddie pool on a cement slab.
What the?
We were stunned for a few seconds, not sure.
So you telling me I didn't got scanned, bro? I'm definitely leaving. What?
But that's when the old creep started to coerce us.
What are you waiting for, huh? Get in there and have fun so I can get paid, all right? I waited on you guys for hours.
It's not quite what we expected.
I'm not getting in that pool, bro. You get in there.
I'm sorry to
you get in there, old nigga.
I think we're just gonna go home.
No, you're not.
And
excuse me?
Makes you say that?
He then flashed.
This nigga's voice shaking and shit. Scary as hell.
Pistol tucked in his waistband.
Oh, I'm scared. All right, you got it, bro. You got it.
My
I'm getting in
girlfriend
the
and I
pool, bro.
exchanged a
I'm
look,
getting in the
and I
pool.
could see the distinct fear in her eyes that
I'm
I
getting
felt
in the
deep in
pool.
my core too.
I'm
By
so
then,
sorry.
we knew we really messed up and had no idea what this guy was capable of. So we
Yeah,
began
I'm getting in
stripping
the
down
pool,
to our
bro.
bathing suits since he left us with no choice. The grin that spread across his face when he saw my girlfriend
Yeah, you got
in a
it.
bikini
You got it, bro.
made me
You
want to
got
break
it. I'm
every
getting right in
bone
the
in
pool
his
with my
body.
girl. Come
But
on,
I
baby.
had no
Let's get
idea how
let's get in the
quickly
pool.
he could pull that gun. When we were undressed, we
Come on,
stepped
baby.
into the pool and stood
Let's
there
hop in the pool.
awkwardly as there was no water in it. That's when our captor reached down and pulled a hose off of the ground and turned it on to fill up the pool while spraying us with water. As he took a seat at the stool that was uncomfortably close to us, he was almost drooling, clearly taking great pleasure in hosing us down. However, things were still about to get worse.
What are you doing just standing there? I want to watch you mess around like young folks do. You two aren't brother and sister or something, are you? It wouldn't matter to me anyway. Come on, do something. You know what I want to see. You look so much like my wife. I miss her a lot. You remind me of all the stuff we used to do.
Then, one of the most shocking, blood-curdling things happened to me.
Okay.
The man pulled the gun out of his waistband and pointed it straight at my face.
Yo.
Wait a second, please, don't shoot. I'm
For
begging
what?
you.
Stop it! Don't do it!
Shut up, tramp!
Oh, he about to get this shit blown
You
off.
scream later. Now,
And GTA.
let me put this chump in his place.
Yo.
I closed my eyes and prepared to die.
Oh,
The
you're not
last
about to
thing
die.
I saw was him squeezing the trigger, but the next thing I felt changed the course of my life. It was just a spurt of water hitting my face.
Are you
I
serious?
was confused and everything went silent after that. I peeled my eyes open just for the old coot to pull the trigger again, shooting water straight into my eyes.
Are you serious?
I couldn't believe it.
This nigga
He had us
scanned me?
duped with a water gun. Watching that creep laugh himself made me want to beat him into a pulp. I wound back to sock him right in the face with every intention of shattering every bone in it. But at that very last moment, my girlfriend jumped in the way and held me back. My girlfriend ended up talking some sense into me. We went home and tried to put the ordeal behind us. I reported the incident, but obviously there wasn't much that could be done since it was just a water gun.
What are you
If I had
reporting,
actually
bro?
crippled him, that would have been a hard case to argue in court. We never saw or heard from that guy again, but we were able to get him taken off the app, which hopefully saved a few people from going through what we did. I can only wonder how many people got tricked by those phony photos before us, though.
So my
This
guy
story
did.
was inspired
So my
by
guy
a true
just
story
tricked him?
regarding a man who was caught
That's
catfishing
crazy.
customers on the Swimply app using Google-like swimming pool images.
Wait, they
for
actually got a
customers
switch
to arrive at his home and be
an
scammed
app
of his
like
kiddie
this?
pool. The image below was submitted by the viewer, which was allegedly a snapshot of the
That's
same kiddie pool
crazy.
used to scam his
That's
customers.
actually kind of cool though. But at the same time, it's not, because, you know, my guy, imagine if this dude had actual bullets though. That would have been crazy. But alright, guys, I'm gonna get up out of here. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, bruh. And I'm out. Peace.